Hello, I'm Nicole, and I wanted to make a video today about a subject that I am really passionate about and spend a lot of time thinking about, but not really, I guess, talking to a lot of other people about. And I wanted to make this video to present the idea that maybe not everybody fits into that BookTok mold that's really popular right now when it comes to finding new books and finding what you love to read and the type of characters that you want. And I don't think there's anything wrong with BookTok. I think it's a great place for people to be introduced to reading. But if you're feeling like that's not really where you're finding your books or authors or things that really resonate with you, that's what this video is for. So I've of course read some books from BookTok and tried quite a lot of them, the recommendations that people make, but I tend to find that it's just not the books that I lean towards or I want to keep reading over and over. So, the books that I do keep reading over and over, I figured I would share because you might be like me and these might be books that just really resonate with you. So, I've always been a huge fan of cozy mystery books and the genre itself. I wanted to recommend my absolute favorite mystery series or cozy mystery series. So it's the Aunt Dimity series by Nancy Atherton. And I think I've read the whole of the series at least 3 times, probably more. And then there's certain books within the series. I think there's about 24 books total now, but there's certain books within the series that I just come back to every season or just because I need that little feeling of being with my friends. I think it's the absolute best cozy mystery series I've ever read. And if you want to read a cozy mystery series where every scene feels like you're completely immersed in it and the characters feel like they're your friends and your family, and it's a fantastic mystery, but the real focus is found family and friendships and feeling like you belong and finding a community to belong in, this is definitely the one to try. So, the main character, her name is Lori, and what makes her different, I think, than a lot of other main characters in cozy mysteries is that she's not perfect. She doesn't always know what to do, and she doesn't own a cute shop. She doesn't have some kind of cute, cozy little life to begin with, but she follows her instincts and she leans into her strengths, and we see her weaknesses as well. And I really love that. I feel like she feels like a well rounded, real person. And sometimes cozy mysteries I find aren't as necessarily as layered that way with the characters, and they're not as deep. Another thing that I really love in these books, in all of the series, is that Laurie's married and she has a wonderful husband, but it still comes across as a very real partnership with very real people. And the stories and her life and her choices are never overshadowed by this husband. He's more of just a true partner, and he's supportive and pushes her to not abandon herself. He pushes her to lean into her passions and make time for them. In one of the books, he sees that she's kind of losing herself in a hard kind of family experience, and he just makes plans for her to go to have a trip. And I think he does this quite a bit throughout the series, actually. And he will just say, hey, I'm noticing this, make plans, and make sure that she gets the time to do the things she's passionate about so that she doesn't lose herself and she retains the things that he loves about her, makes her so independent and so amazing. Another thing that I really love in this series is the found family. Lori is an only child and grew up an only child, so I think there's this kind of feeling of loneliness in that way. And maybe she didn't know she was lonely, I guess, but there's this feeling of, not really having belonged and not having a community. And I'm someone who grew up moving from country to country and state to state and always having to make new friends. And I loved it, loved the experience. I didn't think I was missing anything. But I think the older I get, the more I find that I have such a need for a community and people that understand me and see me and celebrate the things about me that make me me. And that's what you'll find in this series. The sense of community and the people that become her people. You just really get to know them in such deep ways, and you just connect to them. And you really do feel like you're part of this village and Lori's family. I love it so much. The other thing that I really love about her story and the kind of overarching, not stories, but the overarching kind of ideas in the book is that there's a lot of starting over. There's a lot of reevaluating your life and starting from a new place to pursue the things that mean the most to you, and to kind of have that authentic version of you. And Lori starts over completely, and she's totally afraid of it, but she still does it and just feels her way through. And I think that's just such a universal experience, and I relate to it so much. The other thing that I absolutely adore about these stories, and it's hard to put into words, and I can't, it's terrible calling myself a writer and then saying, I can't put this into words when reading another writer, but Nancy Atherton is absolutely magical with immersing you in every location, every moment, everything about her scenes feel real. It feels like you're there. You get to experience these places that Lori goes to. And somehow she does it without ever sacrificing the focus on meticulous mysteries and without losing the depth of the growth of the characters and the deeper background stories as well. There's just so much depth to these books, and I think that's the thing that at the end of the day I crave the most in what I'm reading. Not that I don't read easy, smutty, quick, funny. Those are great. They have their place, but the things that I keep coming back to are stories that have depth and connection and a sense of realness, even when they're not quite real. Because these stories also have paranormal aspect to them, and quite a few paranormal aspects to them. And I think that's something that just adds such a bit of whimsy and magic. And somehow the author does it without ever making it feel unreal. And I adore it. So if you want to feel like you're living a whole life in the Cotswolds and traveling and meeting all these new people and just feeling like you're actually a part of that world, you definitely need to check out these stories. So I think if I'm going to round this up, I'm going to say I think these books are for people who want to feel connection, who want to have depth and layered experiences and real meaningful relationship experiences on top of really cute mysteries and fun stories, just interesting and unique stories. And they're books for every season too. So one of my favorite books is Aunt Dimity's Christmas, and I read it every year at Christmas time because it puts me in there and I get to take and have my Christmas in the Cotswolds with a good little mystery. And for some reason, I don't get tired of reading them over and over and over. My other absolute favorite one is Aunt Dimity Takes a Holiday. Absolute amazing imagery. And it takes place in like an estate. So it's that closed set mystery. There are probably quite a few of them like that actually in the series, and I love those. Those are my favorite. They make me think of Murder, She Wrote and the episode the episode where it's raining and the bus breaks down and they're stuck in a diner or cafe or whatever it is. And I just love those closed set mysteries. So I think if you like those, these are also really good because the seasonal aspect to the stories makes it so you can reread them during these, seasonal moments, and they're just cozy, they're familiar, they feel like a hug. I think if any of this sounds interesting to you in this not very organized way that I've explained this to you, I think you should definitely check them out. You don't have to dive into this series from the first book. It'll make more sense if you do. But each one, I think, does a good job of being its own book. I would recommend you start with the first book. It's called Aunt Dimity's Death. And so it starts at the beginning of Laurie's story and, kind of gets you to where she ends up being. And then the rest of the series goes through. They're just fabulous. I don't think the second book is my favorite. I think you need to read it to help know the characters, but it might slow you down. So you might skip to the third one and then go back and read the second one. But they're magical. Everything about them is enjoyable. If you're looking for a book series that you can take time and read through, and there's no cliffhangers, and they're all their own little episodes, if you will, I think it's the perfect set of books. And even if you're someone who doesn't necessarily think they like cozy mysteries, I think you should still give it a try if you like mysteries in general or location kind of based books, because they take place in the Cotswolds, most of them she travels to. They're just such rich scenery. You feel like you're there. So I do think they really can appeal to a really diverse audience. It's not just cozy mystery readers or mystery readers. The friendships and the side characters, all their beautiful stories, they're just very universal and very relevant, especially with our current climate and world situation. I think that stories like these are just so necessary. Stories that just make you feel safe and seen. And I think you should try it. And I really want you to let me know if you do try them or if you've read them. And if you have read them, what's your favorite? What's the one that you just keep coming back to and reading over and over again? And why though? Because sometimes for me, I find that the ones that I just keep coming back to, sometimes it's just because of the location. And then sometimes it's because of the characters and what the characters were going through, like the background things, and not even the whole mystery itself. So I'd be very curious to know what's the thing that keeps you coming back to it, or if you've read them, or if you're excited to read them. They're good for all ages to read. I don't really think there's anything in them that, teenagers or even younger couldn't be reading. So I think they're just so diversely appealing. And I'm just really grateful if you watched all the way through. I get really fired up about sharing books that I love that I just don't see other people talking about. I just get so excited. And just letting you guys know, because this is well, I don't know what to call it, but so the author Nancy Atherton, she lives in Colorado, in the town that I live in. And sometimes I'm out and about and shopping and things like that, and all I can think is, oh my God, she might be here. And I wouldn't even know because I don't pay attention and I don't look around. And I don't think she does book signings anymore, even though she is writing a new book in the series right now. But I don't think she does book signings anymore, so I can't even like have the opportunity to like see her in person. And I am not someone who wants to see authors or celebrities or anything like that in person. Like it just doesn't really appeal to me. They're just people, and frankly, probably I don't want to see them in person because it'll probably kind of ruin the, you know, the the mystique, I guess. I don't know what else you would call that, but she's someone I would love to meet in person. And I feel like that happens when you read a series that just resonates so deeply and it's something that becomes a part of your life. Like this series is a part of my life. It's a part of my yearly routines. It's a part of my comfort. So I would creepily want to tell her, like, you have a gift. This is an amazing thing that you've done, and it's magical. And I read a lot of books, and I've never read any in this genre that are so impeccably written and so layered and so deep, all while still being fun and a cute mystery and cozy. So I think I would just want to tell her that, but like it's also a little bit weird. But you didn't need to know that. But I just feel like it's one of those weird once in a lifetime things because she just happens to live where I live. But anyway, if you check these out, let me know. Thank you for watching to the end if you watched to the end, and come back because I'm going to make more videos about books that I love that I don't hear anyone else talking about that have made a really big impact on me or just resonated really deeply. And I'd love for you to see and let me know if you've read them or what you think. So, thank you.